Hey guys, on this episode I'm going to be taking you through the process of doing a vertical strawberry planter, Shou Sugi. So I'm going to be torching it and sealing it, and it also makes it look really nice. And then we're going to plant a bunch of strawberries in there. The first step, I'm going to grab 2 pallets and grab some wood, cut them so they're about 1.5 to 2 feet apart, so I can fill that all with soil. And then the holes in the pallet will be the spot where the strawberries come out and hang down. So first off, I headed down to my local hardware store where they had a bunch of free pallets and free wood that they used to store on top of tarps to kind of keep the tarps from blowing away. So I picked up a bunch of that. So I'll be using a propane torch, which you can see a propane tank here. The torch itself is right here and right down there. So I'll be using this propane torch to burn the wood and seal it. And then from there I can just put together the planter and with some landscape fabric or some burlap and fill it up. So let's go do it. Alright, so now that I've got everything burned, I've got a small little deck on the bottom cut out that I just scorched the top of, and now the weight of the soil will have something to sit on. So you can see here's one of the boards. I got 3 of these. I just cut them so they fit along the bottom there, and then there'll be proper airflow and drainage on the bottom. So you can see I have the deck on the bottom, and these 2 boards here are actually a tiny bit, well, this one's just kind of, it's sliced. So anyways, there's space here for water to drain out. Same with here, and in between the cracks of the boards, this is kind of loose too. So water can still drain out of here, plus out of the sides, and then I'll fill this in, and then yeah, we can plant strawberries. This is going to be the front because I like how these boards are placed. And they're also a little bit smaller. This side, it's a little bit wider, and I'm going to put this against my deck. Okay, now that my pallets are burnt and sealed and also attached on this side, I have 1, 2, 3, and then the bottom one there 4. It's all nicely held together, and it's also leveled out. So I got this in, this is the final place, because once I fill this with soil, this thing's going to be really heavy and I won't be able to move it, at least not by myself. So I've got this side open, and I just gave a light scorch into the bottom there because I added that flooring in afterwards. So there's going to be proper airflow underneath, and it also won't rot my deck. So now I'm going to put in some of this landscaping fabric. I also got some burlap, but I think this will work a lot better, so we'll try this out first. Alright, so I got the landscape fabric in. I just tried putting in some burlap, as you saw there, to catch it on the spot where the strawberries will actually be sitting. And I was planning on cutting some slits into the burlap so then worms can get in and out. but I don't think the burlap is going to hold. So what I'm doing now is I'm cutting the bottom landscaping fabric and curling it under so it acts as like a little pouch at the bottom, and then I can make those cuts in there, and I'll put another piece of landscaping fabric that runs along the bottom, and then that should be good to go. So let's try this out. Alright, so I decided to build a small shelf on the bottom to hold the soil, and see that right here? So all I'll do is, this is perfectly fit to go in here, and it'll just sit in there, and then I'll just screw that down to them, and now I'll leave the fabric in here to hold this as well, but now when the weight pushes down, it'll push down on this, and it won't go through onto the deck and rot it. Alrighty, so we've got all the landscape fabric in here. Kind of not the best job, but it doesn't really matter. It's getting all covered with soil anyways. So I've got this side still open. Just figuring out how to use this nailer too. You can see there's a stapler. Some of these didn't go in very far. The stapler I just got from my mom, getting rid of some old tools. It's probably from like the 70s. So this thing you actually have to push forward really hard, and it still didn't go in. Probably best to do it with two hands, not with one. It's time to seal up this side, and then I can start filling it. So you can see I've got it all done now. I've got all sideboards on. I might put on a few more sideboards here, but for the most part, it's all good. So I can fill in this side here, and then this burlap here. I just didn't want to use any more landscape fabric because it's expensive, and this will just help hold a bit of the weight and contain the soil up top. Now I can plant everything in the sides, the tops up here, the top, and up here. And I'm not going to plant anything on the back side back here because obviously it's against the fence or the deck. So yeah, that's it for this phase. Now it's time to fill this up. For filling this thing up now, I have some bags of leaves, which are somewhere back here. 2 bags of leaves that I've gathered. I'm going to put a piece of wood that's decaying, so it'll be kind of like a hugelkultur kind of idea. I'll put that in the middle, so that wood will eventually break down and feed the soil over time. And then also have some manure or compost down here. This is a mushroom manure. And then I also have some native clay soil over here, and 2 bags of fresh produce scraps, which I'll put in here as well. That'll break down over time. And well, yeah. And then also for some structure, I have, let's go take a look here. All this is old grapevines from my neighbor, and I'm going to put this in there and kind of make a bit of a framework in the inside, so it'll be some structure to hold it all together, and this will break down over time as well. This will be some good material to fill it in. Alright, so I got clay in the bottom to hold this thing sturdy. Then another layer of paper shreddings that I got from the recycle depot. And it's all soy-based ink, so it would be fine, it won't be poisonous or whatever. And then a layer of grape stock from grapevine, which you can see here. Right now I got 2 bags of leaves to go in there, and then I can start filling it in with some mushroom manure. Hey guys, so it's the next day. I'm going to be putting all the strawberries in the planter now. And so far you can see here I just put a few scraps in. Put some kitchen scraps in here. This is a compostable bag, but I think I'm actually going to pull that out and just dump it out. But it's important to note when you're putting this much kitchen scraps in there, you need a source of carbon to help break it down, and you also don't want it right by the roots of your plants. So all this stuff is below all the main planting area, and there's lots of compost here, so it'll break down over time, and then once the plants get bigger, the roots will go in there and use that up. But source of carbon, I have all these just paper towel or toilet paper rolls. So I'm going to take these toilet paper rolls and just put them in here as a source of carbon to help break this down. But I'm also going to be pushing this further in. I'm going to layer some more soil on the outside just to cover all this all up, and then I'll be putting some red wigglers in here because those are needed to actually break all this down. So I got all the strawberries planted. Now I'm going to put a couple of these Swiss chard in the sides just to see how they grow underneath as a test. And I'll be planting a whole other planter box with these, but I have a whole bunch of these that I got cheap at the stores, kind of like trying to get rid of them for the end of the season. So I might as well put a couple in here and see how it does. Well, I got the planter all done. Now it's a matter of just waiting and letting the strawberries establish themselves. And by next spring, early June, I should have a ton of strawberries. So let's give you a little quick look here at the final result. You can see I have a ton of runners. I just plucked them down in all the different slots there. And Swiss chard in here. I'm going to have to probably put a board across here because this is already kind of pushing out. And I got two main plants on the top. There's another main plant here and one here, and a smaller one there, and two more Swiss chard here on the sides. And just, yeah, so that does it for now. In time, this will look a lot nicer. It's a little scraggly right now, but it is November. It's pretty cold out here, so I don't know. We'll see how it turns out in a couple months, but that does it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and until next one, guys, have a great day.